top story tonight focuses on Aron Ra. If you're unfamiliar with Aron Ra, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the internet, and I hope you're enjoying your first day here. Aron is Regional Director of American Atheist, a science communicator and secular activist. He is also the creator and founder of the Phylogeny Explorer Project and the author of foundational Falsehoods of Creationism. He is perhaps best known for opposing the Texas State Board of Education in their attempts to denigrate evolution and teach creationism in both science and history classrooms of public schools. Let's listen to the exceptional speech he gave at the Ark Encounter protest in Williamstown, Kentucky.
And next up is Aron Ra. So if you'd come on up, I'll let you introduce yourself as if they don't know you already.
Not a problem. Welcome.
Good to see you. The previous speaker talked about, having biases and prejudices and everything. Just imagine when you have your belief system, as everybody here probably understands, when you have your belief system build those biases and prejudices into you. And in some cases, whether it's racism or homophobia or whatever it is, some of these biases or prejudices that they build into you also build in a response. So that you think that maybe a violent reaction is somehow appropriate if you should encounter one of these other people, or if somebody tries to change your mind about something.
Jesus.
Imagine that. If somebody, when I talk with believers, I often hear that that they'll tell me that they can prove that God is real. Okay, fine, bring it. I'm interested to hear. You think you can prove it? Bring it. And then what they do is they quote from the magic book of fables. The circular argument of assumed conclusions, right? It's the question-begging fallacy, and that appears to be all that they have on that one. But then if I bring up that I can prove that evolution is a thing, they run like cockroaches when you turn on the kitchen light, at least in my house. But just imagine when you have your prejudices built into where you have to have a violent reaction, or where you have to shut your ears, where you're taught that you're not supposed to listen to reason. That's the problem, that you are supposed to believe not for a reason, but because we said so. Believe what I say because I say. Ours is not to question why, ours is but to do or die. I asked a babysitter when I was 8 years old how Jesus turned water into wine, because I knew that there were certain molecules involved, right? H2O was one. I knew that alcohol and fruit juice were involved in the other one. How did he make that change? Did he swap? It turns out all he had to do was add carbon, but she, of course, didn't know the answer to that question. She just says, "How dare you question God?" Because somehow, a book that is absolutely wrong about absolutely everything, and embarrassingly so, that says a lot of stupid shit we can prove is false, is somehow the Word of God. I have to think that if the same guy who devised DNA is the same guy that wrote the worst geneticist in the world would have to be a better author than the group of ignorant primitives who wrote that book, that collection of fairy tales. And they are fairy tales. We often get the counter-apologetics where we have the creationists saying that that evolution is a fairy tale for grown-ups. That's what they tell us, right? But what is a fairy tale, right? Well, a fairy tale is a folklore story with a moral that involves characters like giants, witches, dragons, wizards, and animals that talk and act like people. That's what a fairy tale is. Now look at Genesis again. Look at the Pentateuch. Look at most of it. This is Genesis, at least, is literally fairy tales by definition, and they're trying to twist that into something else. There was a time when Ken Ham, the owner of this facility, was coming to speak as the keynote speaker in Houston, Texas, for the Texas Homeschool Association. And the fact that they had him as their keynote speaker, I thought was outrageous, and it showed that the Texas Homeschool Association did not care at all about educating children, that they only wanted to indoctrinate children. Why do they do that? They want to convince the kids to believe in this nonsense because religion is a means of manipulation of the masses. And so you have to control what they believe in order to control how they vote and how they react to certain emotional stimuli. That's what I'm talking about being built-in reactions. So that when somebody tells you that there is no God, or is an evolution, or is a thing, or challenges any of your perspectives, you're no longer thinking in a scientific bent. You're not interested in hearing what is the reason why and then weighing whether it has any justification or not. Instead, you immediately plug your ears and react violently or stoically, refusing to believe in that which we can prove. That's frustrating to me. So I went down to protest Ken Ham, and a couple of you, I'm sure, have heard this story before, but the Texas atheist, there was a Texas atheist group that was the largest geographic atheist group with 2,200 members at the time. They challenged Ken Ham to a debate, and they chose as their champion myself. And my conditions of that was that we were going to hold that debate at the Houston Museum of Natural Science, and that neither Ham nor I could make a profit off of it. Because I know that that's the whole reason that they do this. This is a money-making scheme. This is a political scheme. This is to evoke power over people. That's it. That's all. And this is so for people like Ken Ham don't have to get real jobs, because he doesn't want to have to work for a living. He certainly doesn't want to have to pay taxes, and he's made that very clear. So I was going to have this debate with him, and Ham says that he's not going to debate me. So he said he would only debate someone with a PhD. So P.Z. Myers, who is a professor of biology in Minnesota, threw his PhD into the ring and said that he would debate Ham on one condition, that I remain in the debate as his partner. And then we got no more communication from Answers in Genesis. Nothing. Dead silence. And I feel kind of honored that I might have given Ken Ham an idea, because 4 months later they announced my replacement in that debate against Ham, Bill Nye. I wish I could have coached Bill Nye so that he wouldn't do the debate in Answers in Genesis, so that they could charge the ticket price and make $20,000 profit just on that night. But it got worse than that, because people saw how badly he lost. And universally, everybody said that they lost. 93% of the Christian Today followers voted in their survey that Ham lost that debate. People who believe in God and in the boat still said that Ham lost that debate. I wouldn't have done it where they could make so much money, and then the donors for Ken Ham realized how badly he lost and donated more. Because somehow the truth doesn't matter, and it's disturbing to me. When you get it, have you ever got into conversations with Christians and you start giving some detailed fact that we can absolutely prove is true, and then they start arguing, well, why does it matter if it's true? Why can't we believe what we want to? That is so irritating to me. You are welcome to believe any fairy tale you want. You are not welcome to mislead and deceive other people's children with bullshit. That I find insidious, and for whatever reason, although everybody thinks about the kids, I actually care more about the little old ladies that I see in these audiences, because they're very often undereducated, or they wouldn't be in this place in the first place, and they're susceptible, and they're being used for their money, because where do you think most of the donations come here, right? For all religion, not just creationism. That's from these little old ladies who are being built into believing, and because they can be programmed to be afraid of everything. And that's another thing. Why are we not afraid of every damn thing like the believers are? They're programmed to be afraid of everything, so that they will turn to people like this for their defense. So irritating, so insidious. So, I had another story to tell you, but I seem to have forgotten. So I guess I will leave you with that. And Phil, thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you, everybody, for showing up in all of this stark sunlight. It's close to 90 degrees here. We get very little cloud cover. It is hot as hell, but I guess we should be used to that, right? Thank you much.
Another big hand for Aron.
Well, thank you very much for joining us once again. Please stand by for our next episode. Also, check out the links in the description to find out more about both the Phylogeny Explorer project and Aron's book, Foundational Falsehoods of Creationism. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you really like what we're doing and would like to see more expeditions like this one, please consider becoming a patron. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.